Victorious doesn't have any low-rated episodes, but there's still 2 episodes that are pretty boring. One of them is the Hambone King, and the other is Who Did It To Trina. These episodes aren't horrible, they're just boring and could have been done better. The Hambone King is about Robbie being an expert in hamboning. He's then challenged by someone to hambone, and this person beats Robbie. Robbie doesn't take the loss too well, but Tori ends up helping him to avenge his defeat. It turns out that Tori is an expert at hambone, so she begins teaching Robbie on how to get better for his rematch. Although hamboning for an entire generation is remembered as a Victorious thing, it's one of the gags that was too random for Victorious. It actually makes the episode pretty boring. Hamboning is a real thing, and it's also known as the Juba dance. It's an African-American folk dance that originated on 19th century plantations. With all due respect, I seriously thought that hamboning was something Dan Schneider just made up, but it is interesting to know it's a real thing. Robbie is a great character, but he's not great enough to have an entire episode based on him. I understand why they did it since they couldn't give this plot to someone like Andre or Beck. They could have done it with Sinjin, but they probably weren't too confident in giving Sinjin an entire episode. The other episode is Who Did It To Trina. This episode starts off strong. Tori is directing her own play, and then Trina gets hurt. Trina could have gotten seriously hurt since the cable that was holding her snapped while she was still up in the air. Majority of the episode is spent inside a counselor's office. Lane is trying to figure out who hurt Trina and isn't letting anyone leave until he finds out the truth. Andre wants to leave really bad because he has a hot date waiting for him. It's implied that Tori or Jade were the ones responsible because they each had their own motives. But then it turns out that the cable holding Trina actually snapped on its own. However, this isn't the truth, and at the very end of the episode, we find out that Rex himself cut the cable. It's actually Robbie who did it because he controls Rex, but it's interesting finding this out. Was Robbie secretly evil the whole time, or is he mentally ill that he does things and blames it on Rex? In Robbie's mind, he probably seriously thinks Rex did it. This plot of Who Did It To Trina is great on paper, but they executed it pretty bad. They shouldn't have spent a huge chunk of time in the counselor's office. They started the episode with high stakes, so they should have continued like that. For example, getting the police involved, so it actually scares the kids. What saved the episode from being completely boring was the ending when we find out it was Rex. Only because it brings more questions to the viewer. Questions like, is Robbie actually evil or delusional and blame stuff on Rex? Now I want to be clear and say that just because these episodes are boring, it doesn't make them bad or horrible. The worst episode from the show isn't even the terrible finale. The finale is just a dumb way to end the entire show, but it's an okay episode. Victorious just might be the rare occasion where a show doesn't have a horrible episode. Even the bloopers episode is good. This most likely is because the entire Victorious cast is loved, and Ariana Grande was already becoming a pop star. But go ahead and comment if you find another episode boring, or if you hate an episode. I'd like to see what the people think.